Climate activists in Austria today poured a black, oily liquid over Austrian painter Gustav Klimt's masterpiece, Death in Life, at Vienna's Leopold Museum. So we're still doing this, and there are still people that are able to walk into art museums holding buckets of paint, and nobody stops them. It says two members of the group Last Generation threw the dye over the 1950 painting before one proceeded to glue himself to the glass protecting the masterpiece. A security guard at the museum managed to restrain one of the activists before police arrived at the site. Museum staff are now concerned that Klimt's painting could have been damaged in the protests. A spokesperson for the museum says restorers are working to determine whether the painting protected by glass has been damaged. The Last Generation group defended the protest, saying in a tweet that they were protesting oil and gas drilling, which they called a death sentence to society. Numerous masterpieces across Europe have been attacked in recent weeks in protest at the lack of action against climate change. And then we have a video of it. Let's watch the video.
Wir kennen das Problem seit 50 Jahren.
All right, so he dumps the black paint. He walks in holding the paint. No one stops him. And he's posing there while someone else films. Like, everyone knows what's about to happen. And then a 95-year-old security guard comes in. All right, so there you go.
All right, so I'd like to start out this video by saying if my boss is watching, please don't fire me. I did all of my work and I have 15 minutes between the round that I just finished and the round that I'm going back. So I had a little free time. I was watching the Daily Wire, Matt Walsh. The video that you just saw was a short clip from one of his podcasts a couple of days ago. This is not a new situation. This is not an isolated situation. I'm seeing more and more on YouTube this kind of defacing precious artwork from our culture or other cultures. Very, very priceless art. I think this is the 5th or 6th in a couple of months that I see. These are ignorant, virtue signaling. Just give me 1 second. Yes, sorry, I had to pause the video because a nurse arrived and I didn't want her to think that I was insane talking to myself. It's too late. Yeah, it's too late. I already got that reputation. Yeah, so this isn't the first time that these activists deface art. I have no idea why they're able to sneak in paint into these museums. This one in particular was against oil. So these idiots, I guess, are not aware that renewable energies such as wind and solar, for example, are nowhere, not even close to being able to completely take over fossil fuel at all. We see just in California where they're trying to eventually ban all gas-powered vehicles, that they are one of the states with the highest amount of electric cars. And this summer they were literally begging people not to use their air conditioners, to limit energy use during certain hours. And you could see Tesla vehicles with brackets in the back with literally gas-powered generators and gas cans, which is way, way dirtier. So these activists right now are delusional and extremely ignorant to think that by defacing cultural, precious cultural art, or just in general stuff that doesn't belong to them, as if it's a way to get us to transition immediately to a energy source that is nowhere near able to supply even a state. If we were all to go into electric energy, especially with the cars, it would pretty much collapse every single energy grid on Earth. We are seeing that in Europe because of the war and the how Putin has stopped the gas line, which is extremely stupid to be dependent on a communist country like that, and they are paying the price for that. In my opinion, the best energy source for transitioning, unfortunately, would be nuclear. The wind and solar can probably, and I'm just throwing a statistic out of my butt here, probably maybe 15%. I doubt that even 20% of our energy could be supplemented by this. Now, are we going to improve? Yes, of course. Humans are very creative, and I'm sure that more and more will be able to. But why are these stupid, ignorant, ungrateful, virtue signaling morons defacing property? What do they expect? Like, I'm just going to throw paint on full of these priceless arts, and people are going to go, oh my God, it's true. Okay, let's buy a $60,000 Tesla. Okay, I can't afford it. If you want everyone to go with electric cars, why don't you make it affordable? And even if it was affordable, like I said, the grid is not able to. If everyone's plugging into their house, it would be just overwhelming. Another stupid cousin of this movement are the vegans that seem to be allowed to enter grocery stores and just grab milk and just start pouring it down while like staff members politely ask them, please, could you stop that? Don't do that. If I go into any supermarket and steal a chocolate bar or something like that, they'll call the cops and I'll go to jail, and it'll be considered theft. So what's the difference between going in there and not only stealing one or two items, just like 10s, 20s, 50s, 60, smashing eggs everywhere, dumping milk? Why aren't they making an example of these people? Somebody who defaces these pieces of art in the museums should have examples should be made. They should have extremely high, consequences, and that just doesn't seem to be the thing. I find it disgusting. And unfortunately, the problem is that school seems to be prioritizing teaching certain destructive ideologies that, in my opinion, are not even based in reality. The kids are stupider and stupider, dumber and dumber. The illiteracy rate is going up. If you look at texting, we're at the point of returning to almost hieroglyphics. We're doing OMGs, FYIs, LOLs, thumbs up, happy faces. Our children don't even know proper English. They can't use big words. They're completely inarticulate. And not to mention, and this goes for the adults as well, the Android phones, iPads, etc., and all the social media platforms that are supposed to enhance communication, but in reality isolate people, where everyone's just staring at their screen, no one's talking to each other. I am not saying that I'm not guilty of that. It's highly, highly addictive. So yeah, I think things are going in a horrible direction. And it really angers me to see that for some reason there's no consequences or very minimal consequences to defacing property. This isn't just art museums. They're defacing historical landmarks, statues. Yeah, that's enough on this video. Disgusting.